Hello, I am Chuang. Let's draw the body of the Baryonyx. When drawing, we must first pay special attention to the composition. Baryonyx was a very slender animal. So, we must consider a suitable composition to fit it on the paper, especially on a square piece. We can depict it looking back, as its elongated head and neck will retract in this posture, making the picture look more comfortable. In addition, we must also note the proportions of its body parts, such as its long legs, higher back, and raised pelvis. Its neck was very slender. When drawing it with its head turning backward, we can show the flexibility and curvature of its neck. What's more, when drawing dinosaurs' forelimbs, especially carnivorous dinosaurs' forelimbs, we shouldn't draw the shoulders extended too far forward. Therefore, when designing the movement, we can let its forearm, the upper arm, be tilted slightly backward to present the dinosaur in a more natural state. Now, let's get started. Start with its nose, and draw the crooked shape of its mouth. When drawing, first pay attention to the notch in its mouth, then the upper part of its nose. There was a flat-sided horn-like crest behind the nasal bone. Here, we draw its eye, with the temporal fenestra following behind. Its nostril can be put here, a little further backward than that of ordinary carnivorous dinosaurs, but not as exceptionally backward as that of Spinosaurus. Next, we move to draw its lower jaw. Pay attention to the upward bulge in the front lower jaw that matches the notch in the upper jaw. The posterior of the lower jaw was much thicker. Draw its teeth with those in the upper jaw being larger. The teeth in the lower jaw were smaller, more numerous, and dense. We use a row of dots to represent them on the other side. It had a tongue that might be relatively short. Shade the deep inside part of the mouth. Then, we move to its neck. Draw its neck to curve backward. Draw its throat here and convey the feeling of it looking back. Draw its chest here, followed by its arms. The upper arms were relatively stout, and the forearms were also short and thick. Next, draw its 3 fingers. The first finger was the shortest and had the biggest claw. The second finger was the longest and had the second largest claw. The third one was shorter than the second and had the smallest claw. At this angle, we can see the outline of the belly. Use loose strokes to depict the area connecting the abdomen and the thigh. Moving to the back, we draw the pelvis at the highest point. Next, draw its thigh, followed by the knee, and add some wrinkles on the knee. After that, draw the muscular calf, then the ankle. Then, we come to the other leg, draw the calf, ankle, sole, and the sole on this side. Then, let's draw its toes. From this side, we can see 3 toes on this foot. The last one is hard to see from this angle. we can see all 4 toes of the other foot. The first was the shortest, followed by 3 thick, long, functional toes. Then, draw the other arm and claws. Now, we move to draw its tail backward, making it in a more natural S shape. Add thick muscles on the side of the tail. Place some shadows under the feet. Then, draw some textures to show the skin. Add slight shading on the underside of the tail. We can just apply some relatively leisure and relaxed strokes. Depict the muscles of this leg. From the front, we can see 2 very large pieces of muscle in the calf. Add some wrinkles at the ankle. Place a shadow cast by the torso on the other leg. Draw rows of large scales on the insteps. We can use a few lines to represent those scales on the dorsal side of the toes, as it's hard to see the complete scales from the front. The large scales on the other foot need to be more precisely depicted. The same goes for the fingers. Then, sketch the muscles. Add some shading on the lower part of the body. And draw some wrinkles in the armpits. We can also add shading on the neck and underside of the arms. Pay attention to the folds under the neck. They are usually formed at the turning part of the neck, which is the intersection of the vertical and bottom planes. So, draw shading on the bottom plane of the neck. Sketch some muscles behind the head and add some details on the face. The lower jaw can be shaded to show its thickness. Then, draw some raised structures at the tooth roots to show the flesh here. Above the eyes, draw the shadows formed by the brow bone. Then, add some shadows to the parts with heavier shadows, such as right under the armpits, and where several structures meet. Use some loose strokes to make the parts that did not appear three-dimensional look fuller. Finally, let's also give the ground a little texture. Draw its ear here, don't forget this structure. Good, in this way, we've finished drawing the body of Baryonyx.